Bill kind of came down from the mountain with the tablets. This is how you do social media. So, Mike Monick, take it away.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
Hi.
It's a privilege.
Greetings. This meeting today, we've got a special breakout that's going on for certain people that qualified for the breakout. And for those of us that are not in the breakout, they've asked me to kind of go through, the basics of social media. And so a lot of us are on this call that are, serious part-timers, part-time, full-time, here during the day, during our work week, away from either our regular jobs or spending time here, to, learn more about social media, but maybe already have the basics down of the Primerica business. And so in speaking with what to talk about today for a group of people that know the business, but want to get more out of it, what to talk about. And it occurred to me that, many of us approach social media with some trepidation, a little bit of fear, not understanding how it's going to work for us, et cetera. And so to take it back to basics is kind of where I wanted to head with it today. And so I'm going to do a screen share, and we're just going to kind of take it a little at a time, because some of what we're going to share today has been refined over the last year or so, basically through this group, as we've had some trial and error. And that's just how social media is going to be. It's learning a new skill, and we're all kind of learning it together. So I appreciate the opportunity to share today. And we've got a presentation to just kind of go through and, talk about why we use social media. What's the purpose of what we're trying to do? And I'm going to open up a slideshow. Can everybody see my slideshow okay? Very good. Thank you. I'm going to make a few screen adjustments so I can see your faces as well. But if you're using social media just personally, if you're just on Facebook, especially Facebook seems to be the right demographics, the right, mix of people, just in general. So you may have your own social media where you're using, Facebook to show things to your friends, share pictures of your family, do things with, pictures of your food, or going to a sports game, or whatever's happening that's fun in your life. That's great. Okay. But we can use social media to reach out to people for our business in a way that's compliant, not going to get you in trouble, but also creates a dialogue with people. And that's really the main thing I want to get across to everybody today, is that we want to create curiosity towards what you're doing in order to have a conversation either in person or over the phone with somebody or on a Zoom. We don't want to kill people with tons of information and overwhelming people with, here's what I'm doing, here's everything you ever wanted to know about life insurance. If you need life insurance, call me. That's not working. People are not interested in doing that. Everybody knows you could buy life insurance now online. You could go online and buy life insurance today from any internet stranger or company on Google. You can just Google search it and go online and buy it. People are looking for a relationship with somebody that they trust. That's why we distribute financial services. And so social media gives us an opportunity to talk to people and kind of pique their curiosity a little bit. So here's a few things just up front to know about. Don't ever post and use the company name or talk about lifestyles. You're going to make tons of money with me, throwing dollar bills in the air and sitting in front of a Ferrari, those kinds of things. We also don't like to use the word hire or employees. We're not really hiring people on. And we may say those things on the back end just because it's easier. But For compliance purposes, you do not want to use the words hire or employees or titles that are not true. So if you're a district leader, fantastic. That's great. Use district leader. If you're a regional leader or if you're a representative, okay? And it's okay to say, my friend's company or my company is, bringing on new people. We use the words work, okay? So instead of job, use work. Are you looking for work? Not are you looking for a job? Is that making sense so far? Everybody just raise their hand if that's making sense, okay? Thank you. So if we're posting on Facebook, keep in mind, Facebook is a complicated machine. It does all kinds of different things. And when you're posting on Facebook, somebody may be looking at it on their phone. Somebody may be looking at it on their desktop. Somebody may be looking at it on their iPad or whatever. Those screens are all different sizes and shapes and so on and so forth. And so there's different ways to post, but this is the proven easiest way to post is this screen right here. If you've never posted on Facebook, take a screenshot of this screen. I'm going to give you some time to do that. Take a screenshot of this screen, and we can put it in the chat too. I can put the verbiage in the chat. Let me take a look and see if I can do exactly that. Hold on one sec. I'm going to move it over to the chat and just dump these words in there. So if you need to copy them, I think you can. All right, those are in the chat for you as well. But take a look at what it says and take a look at what it does not say. My office. And it's pretty ambiguous. Some people put the word financial in there, my financial office. Other people put the word friends in there with the possessive, my friends, apostrophe S. My friend's office is looking for people to work from home anywhere in the USA. All online and full training provided. Those are key points. People want to know that they're going to be trained in something new, that they're just not going to have to come with a background in whatever it is that we're doing, or that they need to know any particular skill set, that kind of stuff. Can pass a background check. That's super important, obviously. 18 plus, I've seen some people put 21 plus, just because our sweet spot is really not the teenage market. So sometimes when you put 18 plus on there, you'll see a lot of different responses. People looking for their kids, to have work, or a college age person. But you'll see all these things, paid training. You can modify that to training bonus. Paid training or training bonus. Those are two different ways to put that one phrase in there. Training bonus or paid training. No previous experience. Create your own schedule. Daily direct deposit. All these things are factual and we know what they're talking about, but this piques curiosity. People don't really understand what this job's all about. They're looking for something they don't know. Leave a comment below or share this post to tell others. So what happens when somebody leaves a comment underneath a post? That's the whole purpose of this public approach. We're starting a dialogue with somebody that might be interested. And so here's how we respond. Somebody leaves a comment underneath that says, I'm interested, or they might tag somebody in a comment, meaning that they just put somebody else's name in a comment. Has anybody ever seen that on Facebook where they put somebody's name underneath? Somebody that they're recommending, and the idea is that when somebody else puts a comment with somebody's name on there, I know this might be, old news to some people, but for some people on this call today, this is very basic stuff for Facebook posting. When somebody puts a comment under your post, and all that's on there is somebody else's name, that means that they've alerted somebody else to the post that it might be of interest to that person. And that person's given a little message saying, hey, somebody tagged you on Rodney King's post, or somebody tagged you on Dan Otto's post. Well, when they click on that notification, it's going to take them to Dan, it'll take them to your post. And they'll see their own name tagged in the comments. And so now they're compelled to read that post. Well, here's the response. It's almost always some variation of this. We want to create a dialogue in the comments underneath the post that you've made. So if somebody posts a comment that says, I'm interested, Alan, great. So let's say Susan says she's interested. The correct answer to that is to post a comment under their comment that says, hi, Susan, thanks for commenting. Would it be okay to send you a direct message? Now we post a question there. Why? There's specific reasons why we post a question there. When you create a dialogue in Facebook, Facebook moves your post to show it to even more people. That's why we create the dialogue. It'd be very easy just to call her directly or message her directly, but we want to do a question for two reasons. One is we want to create that dialogue in the comments section because it then pushes that post even further. And two, we want to get permission to send a direct message before we send it, especially if it's a stranger. If it's not somebody that you know and you send them a direct message, Facebook doesn't like that very much. And you can get in trouble for doing that. So if you do it all the time and you're sending a bunch of people direct messages that you don't even know, it's best to ask permission first. So, hi, Susan, thanks for commenting. Would it be okay to send you a direct message? Well, it may take some period of time. It could be immediately. It could be a day later. But Susan comes back because now Susan's been notified. Somebody left a comment under your comment. And now Susan's been notified that she's got a question that needs to be answered. So Susan gets back on there and says, absolutely, send me a direct message. So what do we send Susan? So this is where things have changed over the past year or so, depending on your level of expertise. If you're brand new in the business and you don't know what to say, then we connect back with Susan and say, I just sent you a direct message. And in the direct message, you can say something like this. Once you send the direct message, make sure you go back to the post and let Susan know, I just sent you a direct message. Now, why do we do that? Because on Facebook Messenger, where you're sending people direct messages back and forth, on Facebook Messenger, if you are not friends with Susan, Susan has a folder that non-friends mail goes to, and Susan has a different folder that friends mail goes to. So when you go back to the message, when you go back to the comment section and say, hey, I left you a message, take a look at your spam folder, make sure you got it, or let me know if you did not receive the message. It's a back and forth under the comments. All of this drives traffic to your post. All of this attracts more attention, and it gets people looking towards your comments, because now your post will say you've got a whole bunch of activity, and that breeds even more activity. It's exciting when people see a post that's active. You'll see people liking the post more, and all of this pushes it towards more people. When you post something on Facebook, I'm going to stop the share for a moment, but when you first post something on Facebook, if you've got 100 or so friends on Facebook, your message, your post is not shown to all 100 friends. Your post or your message is only going to be seen by somewhere between 2 and 8%. So if you've got 100 friends, it might be seen by 5 people. This making sense so far? So how do we get it to show to more people without having to pay for anything to do that? Well, that's why you create a dialogue. Every time you create a dialogue, more people see the post. That's the whole idea behind creating the dialogue. So more people will see the post. So what do we do when we get them into the direct message? Well, let's take a look. Go back to screen sharing. When we get them into the direct message, if you don't know what to say to somebody, you're brand new in the business or you're training somebody that's brand new in the business, when you get them in the direct message, you create a 3-way direct message. So you send a direct message to Susan, and so you say, hey, Susan, you add your regional vice president or your trainer to the direct message and create a 3-way message. If you don't know what to say to somebody, then you want to add your trainer to that message. So, hey, Susan, this is my regional vice president, whoever that is, or this is my trainer, or this is my manager, and you add that person to that text message. So it creates a 3-way dialogue now on the direct message. And you add some accolades to it. She's exceptional at the business. She'll take it from here. Well, the person in the direct message, Susan, who said she was interested from working from home and all that kind of stuff, she's going to have questions. And so when you're in the direct message, we want to get that as soon as we can into an appointment. So we want to get somebody that's good at setting appointments. If you're not good at setting appointments, that's why you want to bring in somebody else on your team, your trainer, your manager, your regional vice president, and make sure that they're aware that, hey, you need to be checking out Facebook today if they're not on Facebook all the time, because we want to take it from direct message to setting an appointment. One of the other key phrases that we're putting in there to set an appointment is, hey, Susan, thanks for reaching out. Let's talk about it some more. What's the best phone number to reach you? And once you have a phone number, then you can start dealing with calling people, setting up appointments directly, whatever your usual method is offline to be able to set up appointments with somebody. Asking for a phone number without creating a dialogue can really be creepy. So you want to have at least some sort of dialogue going on first. And you'll be surprised if you put something down that says, thanks for reaching out. Let's talk about it some more. What's the best phone number to reach you? And just kind of a finer point on that, when I'm sharing something like that, I don't give my phone number out first. I ask them for their phone number. Why? That keeps the control in your camp. If you give them your phone number, it's just like prospecting out in person. If you're out at Home Depot and you find a sharp guy and he's, you want to talk to him more about your business, you say, hey, Tom, I'd love to talk to you more about my business. Let me leave you my number. Give me a call, because I'd love to talk to you more about it. Is Tom ever going to call you? No. And remember, on direct messages through Facebook Messenger, those get lost. If you get a lot of messages coming in those messages get buried. People don't have their direct messages on their phone most of the time. They don't have an app. They have to be logged into Facebook and really alerted to the fact that they even have a message. So you really want to grab a phone number or have your regional vice president or your trainer grab a phone number as soon as possible. And then what does the regional vice president do? They're going to reach back out. They're going to connect directly with that person. And some of us have been using what's called a scheduling link, but getting a phone number is probably the preferred method these days. If you want to use Calendly, that can work for you. If your schedule's super tight and you're a regional vice president, you're already familiar with Calendly and using calendar links to have somebody set their own appointment. But once again, that puts the power solidly in the camp of somebody else. We give them the responsibility to set the appointment instead of us being able to reach out to them directly. So there's different ways to approach that, but whatever your best way of getting somebody to make an appointment, whatever your normal way is to make appointments, that's what we want to get to. We want to go from, the Calendly link. That's good, Simone. Simone, I'd love for you to comment on that, because with Calendly, sometimes people set their own appointments and other times it's so far out in the future that they forget to come. The appointment gets set, but the appointment never actually happens. Simone, what is if you're able to unmute, Simone, tell us a little bit about that, on how you've been successful with Calendly, or have you been grabbing phone numbers, and is that working better for you? Are you able to unmute, Simone?
I am. I'm here. I'm just, it's early still in California, so forgive my camera. But yeah, on my Calendly link, I do have it set only for 7 days. Like my time frame is only 7 days, so they can't, and that's still a lot.
Yes.
But it's hit or miss, honestly. And some do, some don't. I don't know, like the percentages. I want to say maybe 30%. We'll set the appointment, and even that's a numbers game. Because then I gotta hope and pray that they show up. So that's the trick for me with that Calendly, not giving it too much time. My windows on the availability is only for the next 7 days, so they will set it, and then I do get the phone number, because in addition to the email, I have the phone number. So when they set it, if they are late, then I text that number or call it sometimes. My calendar has reminders, so it sends a reminder. So sometimes I'll get a reschedule or a cancel, or even from that reminder. So I copied that structure of Calendly from someone, and it somewhat works. Yeah, see, 2 days, that's probably better.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's my take on it. But it does work on that. I think it was the third step. I've never asked for the phone number, because like you said, well, I think you mentioned, or I was thinking, sometimes that could be like a little weird. And I definitely don't give mine, but they have it once they get their calendar, the appointment.
Thank you. Yeah, here's what I've been sending in on the comment section. Once we get from the comment section to the direct message, I put it in the chat. Hi, Susan. Thanks for reaching out about work. Let's talk more about it. What's the best number to reach you? And that's actually been more successful than Calendly, especially for short-term appointments. Like Professor Bob, you said that, Calendly set for 2 days out. That is definitely the way to go. Simone, I was with you. I was doing 7 days, and people forget. People forget that they set the appointment. They don't even remember what it was about. They forgot that they saw or read that post. When somebody's excited about seeing the post and they're like, yes, well, if you can grab them in the next 24 to 48 hours, that's always better. And creating the dialogue on Facebook is one thing, but you really don't want to create a dialogue in Facebook Messenger. You don't want to start answering a bunch of questions. What's this all about? What's the pay structure? What kind of work is it, etc. You can say simple things like, we work in financial services, we distribute financial services. I'd love to talk to you more about it. What's the best number to reach you? I've really adopted the what's the best number to reach you more than anything else. The Calendly works, but I did find myself, just like Simone was talking about, I ended up calling people anyway because they would miss the appointment, they'd be late, I'd have to reset it, etc. So yeah, it confirms through their phone number, Terry. That's right. If you use Calendly, there's tutorials galore on YouTube about how to use Calendly. But the easiest method is to see if you can grab a phone number. And I always put the word work in there. Thanks for reaching out about work. I'm not really putting thanks for reaching out about my financial services office and working from home part-time. I'm not super verbose about it. I'm real short and to the point. Keep in mind, when you're reading a text message on your phone, or when you're looking at Facebook Messenger, you can usually see the top line of the message. So if somebody's written an entire paragraph, you're not going to see the whole paragraph unless you click on it and read it. So you want those first few words to be super important and grab their attention and make it where, somebody's got curiosity about what they, what they're asking about and going to ask more questions. So I need to go off here just for a second and find another slideshow I want to show you because I want to talk about the numbers of what this can look like. And there are people that this is working for. Many of us on this call are experiencing success from it. It has changed my business in so many ways. Recruiting's up. Everything's up in my business as a result of using social media. And the key to social media, like so much of what we do in our business, is consistently posting. So I want to explain what I mean by that, because on social media, you can post one time and you'll probably have a lot of response if you've never posted before. But as you continue to post, the surprising part is that people are watching. People do see it and don't comment on it. People see it and will message you without leaving a comment. And so once you start posting on social media with these kinds of messages or some variation of what we talked about earlier, you'll be surprised that people will say, yeah, I've been seeing you post about this for months and you finally got me. What's this all about? etc. And this is basically like the parable of the sower. We're broadcasting, sowing seed. We're tossing it out there to see what's going to happen. And the numbers, even if the numbers are low, you're still going to have a great deal more activity than if you don't do it at all. Are you able to see where it says parable of social media? All right, thank you. So we're throwing these seeds out. Is my screen cut off? Do you see the whole thing?
It's a little too zoomed in, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. Let's check it out. I'm going to stop my share. Thank you for telling me. Try again. How's that?
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay, great. So we know what we're sowing out there. And we've heard about the hard ground, the shallow ground, the thorny ground, the fertile ground. We don't know what it's going to yield. We're just out there sowing. That's the magic of social media. We're just throwing it out there, and it doesn't cost a thing. So we're throwing it out there. We're throwing out a message, and we don't know who's going to respond. And when we don't know who's going to respond, we treat each response consistently. In other words, the correct answer to the comment, whatever the comment is always going to be a similar answer. So, what's this all about? I'm interested. Is this Primerica? Is this multi-level marketing? The correct answer is almost always, hey, Susan, can I send you a direct message? That's almost always the correct answer. But let's look at it. The business of posting, we can post, but the idea is to start having other people post for you. And as we start to teach people this is why we're doing these Wednesdays, because not everybody understands posting, and certainly most of us do not understand how to turn a post from a post to a contact and from a contact to an appointment. Once we get the appointment made, then we know what we're doing. All right, so let's take a look at the numbers. These are part of the numbers. Now, where these statistics come from, we can just kind of guesstimate. Facebook really doesn't have, Facebook doesn't really publish information about how many people percentage-wise see each post. That's like, corporate secrets that they keep. But from other research companies, we can basically extrapolate that this is probably about right. So if we have 5 people posting, we can imagine that roughly 1,000 people will see it, but 2% will respond. So you'll see this, and what we're doing is building exponential growth. When we get other people to post and we ask other people to post for us, the numbers start to become incredible. This is what Andy Onstead has learned, is incorporating this into your fast start plan with somebody that's new or even somebody that's not even in the business yet. I was hearing yesterday after the meeting, after our Tuesday night meeting, some of the people that were on the meeting were on the meeting because they had been asked to post just the day before. They weren't in the business, but hey, listen, on Monday, I want you to post this message. And my friend's business is looking for more people, all the stuff that we just talked about. They post that on Monday. They get a bunch of responses, and then we invite them to the Tuesday night overview. And everything that's being said on the Tuesday night overview is proof of what we just talked about with them on Monday. Why? Because they've got 50 responses going on underneath their Facebook post, of which we've made contact with several of those people. So then we can have meetings already set up and appointments already made. And after the opportunity meeting, then we say, see, this is going to work for you. It's exactly what we were just talking about in the opportunity meeting. So this is what we're doing for social media. This is the whole point of social media, is you learn how to do it yourself and start teaching your people how to do the same thing. So kind of want to open it up a little bit right now. I'm going to see if I can see everybody's faces if you have questions. I know this has been somewhat basic. If you've been posting on social media already, this is really a back to basics kind of thing that I wanted to teach. But let's see, Alex, you had something in there? Rodney, you've got a question?
Yeah, what if they just like the post but don't leave a comment?
So when people like the post, it's helpful to the post. Okay, it'll drive traffic to the post. But generally speaking, we leave that alone. Some people will look and see who has liked the post. And if it's somebody you know, especially if it's somebody you know well, and you've already had communication with them back and forth on Facebook in the past, then you might send them out a direct message. If it's a total stranger, then you really don't want to direct message anybody that's a total stranger without permission. So simply liking the post, yeah, that's great. But you know that there's eyes on you, and that's a good sign. If somebody's liking your post, that's a good sign. Now here's a couple of pointers when you're, that's good, Simone. When you're when you're posting on Facebook, you may have privacy settings that are universal privacy settings. So every post you've ever posted is really just for you and your friends to see it. And you need to remember that if we're posting, we want the wider world to see what we're posting. So on this particular post, you can set the privacy settings for the entire world. Why do you want to do that? Because people are going to share this post to people that, yes, make your post public. Thank you, Elizabeth. Make your post public. It can just be for this one post, but when you're creating a post in Facebook, and I've got a whole video on how to do these kinds of things, and I'm going to put my phone number in the chat, so if you want to get a link to that video, I'll send it to you. There's my phone number. You can text me if you want to have a link to take a look at that video. It's an hour-long video, but it's chapterized, so it has different topics on how to post, how to tag somebody, how to make your post public, et cetera, et cetera. All right, what happens if you post and they reply, but they are not interested anymore? Well, the good news is anytime you create a post and somebody replies, when you reply back, it's going to drive traffic to the post. So even if they're not interested, that's okay. But typically they'll tell you they're not interested privately, not in the comment section. You really don't want to create a bunch of questions and answers in the comment section. You want to take that private to the Facebook Messenger. All right, Todd, ask people to share your post. Yeah, that's great. If your post is public and you ask people to share it, see, if your post is for your friends only and somebody shares that post, maybe they're even your friend. Unless their friends are also mutual friends with you, none of their other friends can see that post. Let me say that again. If your post is for your friends only and one of your friends shares it, their friends cannot see that post unless they are mutual friends with you. That's why you have to set the post to be public. Yeah, Tim and Sue, that's a good question. What is the definition of posting consistently? From what I've seen, the overkill of potentially posting daily can be a little bit much. What I've seen from Andy Onsted's crew is that just about every 2 weeks, they're posting some variation of what we talked about earlier. And when you post, you want to post it, you want to make it public, and there's a third step. It's called pinning your post. When you pin a post, when you post something on Facebook, it goes into what's called the feed. And we've all seen it. You scroll through your feed or you're looking through all the different posts of the day. That's a feed. Well, everybody's individual account has their own feed. So every time I post a picture of my dinner and every time, hey, my wife and I went and did this, here's a picture of my grandkids, etc., that pushes everything else down on my feed. Well, if you're posting, you want it to be at the top of your feed, because why? If somebody else comes along and sees it, and then you post 10 other things and they go, I remembered I saw that feed on Mike's post, or I saw that post on Mike's feed, I'm going to go back and look at it. Well, now it's buried because it's a week later and I've posted a bunch of other stuff. If you pin the post, it's like pinning something at the top of the bulletin board so everybody always sees it first. So you post it, you make it public, and you pin it. 3 Ps: post, public, pin it. And if you do that, people can share it, and everybody they share it with potentially can see it. All right, we've got some other questions. On your post, there are 3 dots in the upper right. Yes, click the dots. That's right. Thanks, Bob. So do they post and then take it off every 2 weeks, or post something similar, or do they post something new every 2 weeks? Vicky, that's a great question. So once you take it public, 2 weeks later, you can then take it totally private where it's for your eyes only, and that takes it out of everybody else's reach. Nobody else is going to see that post. And for me, I post something brand new every couple of weeks. You can just reactivate an old post. But when you put something new out there, it's going to be broadcast to a different set of eyes. If you reconstitute the old post, if you reconstitute the old post, the same old eyes are going to see it, and it's not going to have as much new traffic as if you do something new. So thanks for that question, Vicky. All right, what does pin mean, or how do you pin it? So a pin, it's almost like a bulletin board, like an old-fashioned, bulletin board, where if you want somebody to see your message, you're going to put a pin in it and put your message in the middle at the top of the bulletin board. So it's an analogy for that. When you pin a post, as you're scrolling through a Facebook feed, I'll pull it up here, and we're going to run out of time here in just a minute. So just so everybody knows, when the breakout is all done, we'll be done here as well. All right, I'm going to do a screen share so you can see the post I did yesterday. And this post has got a graphic to it. Can everybody see that? This post has a graphic to it. Sometimes I'll do one with a graphic. Sometimes I'll just do the text. But to show you how to pin something, there's two things. To make it public, you'll see various different icons right next to your name. So if you click on that, you'll see it says public. Or you can make it for friends, or you can do only me. To pin it, you go over to these three dots. If you're on your desktop, I'm using the desktop right now to do this. But on the desktop, you hit the three, and you'll see where it says pin post. So I pinned that post, and that post is now at the top of my feed. It says right here, pinned post. And that means it's going to remain at the top of my news feed until I unpin it. Lots of good stuff going on in the chat. Little tips here and there. You got it, Valerie? That's great. What other questions do we have for today? You might be able to unmute your own mics as well.
I have a quick question. How do you deal with people that tend to post to their story instead of posting to their wall?
So stories and reels and posting to your wall all have different audiences. Reels, I think, are forever. Stories are gone within 24 hours. So you really want to do something on the wall or in a reel. If you don't know what a reel or a story is, start with your wall. Reels and stories are more video oriented. One reason people might post to a reel is that it also will post on Instagram if you're in Facebook. All right, let's see. Trish has a question. Can you add people to your post to get more eyes? That's a good question. Very often I will tag my trainer. So if you're brand new and you want more eyes shared, then you can tag other people, and it's basically that same three dots. So yes, Trish, if you've got a brand new person, you absolutely want them to tag you on it. So post, public, pin, and also tag somebody. That's the fourth key. If you've got a brand new person, you want them to tag you on it. Facebook's really the major player for our social media campaign for doing this, Valerie. Instagram's a totally different animal. So basically everything we've been teaching is based on Facebook. And one of the major reasons why is the demographics of Facebook lean more towards our demographics for Primerica. Instagram tends to be a younger crowd than what we're really looking for, whereas Facebook tends to be pretty much the exact sweet spot that we're looking for. So that's basically it.
So what about LinkedIn? Would it be better than Instagram?
So I do not have any experience with LinkedIn, but what we're really trying to do, we're not, LinkedIn's really used for people that are explicitly looking for work, looking for jobs. And there are people on Primerica that have been successful doing things on LinkedIn. But for what we're teaching, LinkedIn is more of a job site, whereas people associate Facebook more with social media. They're both called social media, but the fact is that, we're looking to pique curiosity and tell people what we're doing in order to make appointments. And when you're on LinkedIn, that's really more of a job creators, I'm looking to hire people kind of website. Compliance really doesn't love LinkedIn if you're posting things ambiguously, and Facebook is okay with that. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're not posting the company name and you're not posting the company position, the rate of pay, all that kind of stuff, that can be frustrating to people. For us on Facebook, we can post these things that pique curiosity. We're not hiding anything, but we're also not raising the red flags for compliance and, shooting our mouth off when we're a brand new recruit. So those are the kind of the danger zones to think about. What other questions?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Valerie. Who else has a question?
I had just one comment. Einstein talks, all he said was remain curious. And it's really true, because curiosity is really what drives an awful lot of our business.
I agree with that. Some of us, I struggle with it because I get so excited that I just want to tell people and I forget to ask people questions. And if we get good at the art of asking questions, that's what breeds the curiosity. So I love that about the Facebook dialoguing is asking a question. The main question to remember, if you get good at asking this question, is it okay to send you a direct message? Some people say DM as short for direct message or PM as a private message. And I have found, Leo, you're nodding your head. I've realized that not everybody knows what a DM is. Not everybody knows what a PM is. So I write it out and I say direct message. What's the average turnaround time from post to recruit? That's a good question. I don't have a good answer for that. When somebody gets into, being curious, and now we're, setting an appointment. But once they're in an appointment, it really depends on your credibility with that person. It might be a total stranger, and sometimes that's better because sometimes you can't be a prophet in your own land, and other times, it's somebody that you've known for 40 years, and they saw you post something, but they don't know you as the financial guru. They don't know you as a financial expert. They know you from, playing in the playground 50 years ago, and they don't want to hear it from you. This is why we can involve our trainer. So you start to use your own discernment as far as what's the best thing, what's the best angle of approach. And if you're brand new and you've got credibility with that person, you invite them to a meeting. You invite them to an appointment with your trainer. If you don't know how to give a good meeting, say, listen, I just want to show you what we're doing. Would that be all right with you? Patrick Arender is our trainer, and he says all the time, look, keep your wallet in your pocket. We're not trying to sell you anything. Let me just show you what we're doing. And I'd love to invite you to something that we can share. What's a good time for you tomorrow at 3:00? Or actually, I've got time earlier today. You ask questions just like setting an appointment in any other way. So once you get to the direct message portion of things, the main point is to set an appointment from there, not to answer a bunch of questions in the direct messaging dialogue. You don't want to get into what's the pay rate, what's this all about, et cetera, et cetera. If they're really interested, hey, let's have a quick phone call. What's the best number to reach you? I'm happy to answer your questions. And you get them on the phone, you make an appointment. That's really the way to do it. Anytime you start creating a dialogue, you start giving up the company name. People are not buying into Primerica through posting. People are buying into you and your credibility. They want to join you or they don't want to join you. It's not going to matter if Primerica is the greatest company on earth, which it is, okay? If people aren't buying into you, they're not buying into Primerica. So that's the whole point, is you want to get them on the phone. You want to show them who you are. You want to show them where your heart is. You want to talk to them from the heart. We're not trying to sell people on Primerica. We're looking for people who are looking for us. We're panning for gold. We're sifting through rocks. We're looking for people that are looking for us. And everybody on, Nancy, you're sweet. Everybody on this call, more than likely, the people that recruited us said the same exact thing to 100 other people. But for whatever reason, it resonated with you. You're just looking for the same kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of casting a wide net with social media, is we cast that wide net. We don't know what we're going to catch or who's going to be interested, but something's going to happen when you do it.
Hey, Mike,
Yes,
I do have a question. Speaking of, you don't know what you're going to catch.
that's right.
Sometimes you get spammers, and is that okay to go ahead and delete their comments?
Yeah, the major things that you want to avoid in the comments is anybody that hijacks your post. You're the one that put out the post. And so if somebody else gets in there and says, hey, I also have a job opening, and then posts a link, if there's a link that's been posted in your comments, delete it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's your post. You can do whatever you want to with the comments. If somebody's super negative, maybe don't delete it, but you can hide their post. You can hide their comment from other eyes. So if somebody said something wrong, or you don't like what they said, you don't necessarily have to delete it, but you can mute their comment from other eyes.
Okay.
But if somebody posts a link, absolutely delete it. Delete that comment. Not the whole post, just the comment.
Right.
Does that answer your question, Tim?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, people will do that. They'll see somebody else's post that has traction and has 100 eyes on it, and they're going to post their, scammy, direct link. And
Yeah, I get that also with some Kelly something or another. They post the link.
Well, and sometimes, and I suspect we're going to wrap up our meeting here quickly, but sometimes you'll see people that are not following these instructions that we've talked about today, and you'll see people posting with their Calendly link in the post. So you'll see sometimes somebody will post almost what we talked about, but then they'll also put their Calendly link in the post on Facebook, and it's an active link. Like, click here to set up a meeting with me, okay? And I'm here to tell you, you are hurting yourself by doing that.
Yeah.
Okay? The reason why is because Facebook wants you to be on Facebook. Facebook does not want you to post links to somebody else's website. Okay? And they will suppress the eyes that are seeing your post if you post an active link in there. That's why you want to take it private. And furthermore, that's why it's better to get a phone number than to post a Calendly link even in Facebook Messenger. It's better to ask somebody for their phone number than to send an active link. Why? Because if you get their phone number, you can send them an active link through text messaging anyway. So you can text them, hey, here's my Calendly link. If you don't want to talk to them and you just want them to set their own appointment, maybe you're at work, you can't talk to somebody right then, you're working a day job or whatever, great. Whatever it takes to set an appointment.
Do you normally get the phone number? I mean, do they?
Yes, the phone number.
Yeah. I mean, what? I mean, how often do they? Out of 10, how often do you get? How many numbers do you get?
I would say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 times that I'm posting that very short little, hey Susan, thanks for writing about work. Thanks for reaching out about work. Let's talk more about it. What's the best number to reach you? I'd say 8 out of 10.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yep. Yeah, and Vicky, just to clarify, an active link on your Facebook post will absolutely suppress that post. If you just post, it might show to 5 to 8 people. If you put an active link in there, Facebook will absolutely suppress that post. They do not want to share Calendly's link that's going to take you off of Facebook and take everybody's eyes off of Facebook advertising because you moved them over to Calendly. If you put the link in the direct message, you better believe that Facebook keeps track of that. I don't have any proof of that, but I will tell you that Facebook sees everything, both on and off Facebook, and especially in direct messages. So you can direct message somebody with that link, but my advice would be to get the phone number and then send them the link through a text message. That circumvents them having to give you their phone number while filling out the form on Calendly. It gets you in direct contact with them. If they want to call you and ask a few quick questions before they move on, that's better than them never making an appointment because they didn't fill out the forms and do all the stuff. Vicky says, yeah, they listen to everyone's phone calls too, right? Well, that's probably true. I know I'm not the only one that's had a conversation in private with somebody in my own home, and then the next thing I know, whatever I was talking about is on my Facebook ads.
That's right.
That's how it works.
Don't talk about Traeger grills.
Yes, thank you very much, Rodney. Now we're all going to have Traeger grills on our Facebook post. So the breakout session, I think, is still going. I'm reluctant to end the meeting because I think the breakout is going on separately. And so so it's 10 o'clock. If you have to jump off, that's great. I'll stick with you until I have confirmation that I can absolutely shut down our meeting time because I know it's being recorded as well. But I thank you. If you need my phone number or if you have my phone number from the feed on the chat, feel free to text me. The video I have online, it's not monetized or anything. Watch it, don't watch it. It's an hour long. It's but it's chapterized, so it will tell you in the table of contents, very different topics that we talked about today. How to post, very simple stuff. How to tag somebody, how to pin, all the different things we talked about. It's in there. So if I can be helpful in any way, please let me know. And thanks for being here today, everybody. If you have some more questions or if you want to stick around for a little while, feel free to do that. I'm going to end the recording, and then we'll see if I have permission to end the rest of the meeting as well.